Hello friends. Imagine being born on March 31st, the very last day of the month, standing at the threshold of April, right on the fiery path of Aries. What does this mean for your personality, your relationships, your destiny, and even the kind of energy you carry into the world? Let's take a deep dive into the universe of astrology, numerology, and ancient traditions to paint a full portrait of those who entered the world on this fascinating date. The core personality of March 31st. To be born on March 31st is to be born with fire in your veins, a restless pulse of energy that demands movement, discovery, and bold expression. This date marks not just another Aries, but one who embodies the culmination of the month's spirit, the very essence of spring's awakening, sharpened by the lessons of both beginnings and endings. People born on this day are not simply participants in life. They are initiators, catalysts, and often, the ones who light sparks in otherwise quiet rooms. When they enter, something changes. The air grows warmer, the space feels alive, and those around them are drawn to their presence like moths to flame. Ruled by Mars, the red planet of warriors and builders, these individuals inherit a vitality that is almost impossible to ignore. Yet this is not a vitality expressed through shouting or excessive showmanship. It is subtler, more magnetic. Others sense their boldness without needing them to prove it. Confidence flows naturally from them, like heat from the sun, steady, constant, and energizing. It is this unspoken authority that makes them natural leaders. They are the ones people look to in moments of uncertainty, the ones who seem to know, even when they themselves are unsure, which direction to take. At their highest expression, those born on March 31st inspire with passion. They believe in dreams with a conviction so fierce that others begin to believe too. Whether leading a project, guiding a community, or simply motivating a friend to take a chance, their gift lies in transmitting courage. They do not merely suggest, they embody action. People watch them move forward and think, if they can do it, maybe I can too. This ability to ignite others' confidence is part of their unique charm and part of why they often end up in positions of responsibility, even when they didn't initially seek them. Of course, like fire, this energy has a volatile side. At times, their intensity manifests as impatience. They want things to happen now, and when delays or obstacles appear, they can react impulsively. The same heat that fuels their confidence can flare into frustration, leading to rash decisions or sharp words they later regret. Impulsivity is their double-edged sword. It allows them to seize opportunities before others even notice them, but it can also cause them to leap without fully considering the consequences. Those born on March 31st live close to the edge between bravery and recklessness, and part of their life journey is learning when to advance fearlessly and when to pause, reflect, and refine. Yet here lies the fascinating twist of their birth date. Unlike Aries born earlier in March, who often embody the raw, untempered energy of the Zodiac's first fire sign, March 31st individuals carry with them a surprising element of maturity. Positioned at the end of the first Aries decan, they have absorbed a broader range of influences, shaping them into something more layered than the classic Aries stereotype. Yes, they are fiery, courageous, and headstrong, but they also know, deep down, that patience is sometimes the stronger strategy. They may charge forward, but they also know when to pull back, when to allow timing to work in their favor, and when to let silence speak louder than action. This balance makes them intriguing. Others expect them to always rush, but they surprise everyone, including themselves, with moments of restraint, wisdom, and foresight. It is as though they have lived multiple lives in one, carrying with them an instinctive understanding that not every battle must be fought and not every mountain must be climbed immediately. This blend of drive and discernment sets them apart not just from other Aries but from many in general. Their lives are often filled with contrasts, boldness and gentleness, impulsivity and patience, fiery passion and quiet reflection. They are both the storm and the calm that follows, capable of turning from laughter to seriousness in a heartbeat. This duality makes them complex, sometimes difficult for others to fully understand, but also endlessly fascinating. To know someone born on March 31st is to witness a dance between extremes, a spirit that blazes brightly but also knows the wisdom of pacing itself. The core of their personality, then, can be summed up in one truth. They are pioneers who not only start journeys but also understand the importance of finishing them. They embody the thrill of beginnings while carrying the responsibility of follow-through. And while they may stumble, burn out, or occasionally lose their way, they always rise again, fueled by an inner flame that refuses to be extinguished. Their path is not about playing it safe, it is about living fully, boldly, and with an awareness that each choice shapes not just their own destiny, but the inspiration they offer to others. And now, a little side note. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a thanks button right under this video, or through the donation alerts link in the description. Your support truly helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's continue. Love and romance. To speak of love for those born on March 31st is to speak of fire, intensity, and the kind of passion that does not simply warm but engulfs. These are not people who dabble in half-hearted affections or cautious flirtations. When they love, they throw themselves entirely into the experience, body and soul. Their romance is vivid, dramatic, and alive with the energy of Mars, their ruling planet, which governs desire, pursuit, and the raw drive that fuels attraction. Falling in love with a March 31st individual can feel like stepping into the pages of an epic novel or standing at the center of a whirlwind. Everything is heightened, the colors brighter, the emotions stronger, the sense of urgency undeniable. They fall quickly, often at first sight, because their instinct is to follow the pull of their heart without hesitation. Hesitation, after all, is not in their nature. Love for them is not something to be dissected or analyzed from a safe distance, it is something to be lived, pursued, and claimed with courage. This is why their relationships often begin with fireworks, sweeping gestures, and the intoxicating rush of passion. They know how to make their partners feel desired and cherished, as if nothing in the world matters more than the connection unfolding between them. Yet such intensity has its challenges. Just as a flame burns brightly, it also risks burning out if not carefully tended. March 31st lovers crave excitement and freshness in their relationships, and if their bond slips into monotony or if their partner takes their devotion for granted, the fire begins to flicker. They are not built for complacency. They need to feel that their love story is alive, constantly growing, and infused with a sense of adventure. Without this, they may become restless, searching for sparks elsewhere, or withdrawing into themselves with quiet frustration. Admiration plays a central role in their romantic lives. To love them is to see them, to truly acknowledge their courage, their dreams, and their unique fire. They thrive on encouragement, on being celebrated for the risks they take and the passion they pour into their endeavors. A partner who overlooks or belittles their achievements will wound them deeply, while a partner who recognizes and amplifies their strengths will unlock their most loyal, protective, and affectionate self. In many ways, they seek a mirror, someone who reflects back their best qualities, not out of flattery, but out of genuine recognition. Independence, too, is crucial. Though they give themselves fully in love, they cannot bear to be controlled, suffocated, or restricted. Clinginess feels like chains to them, and emotional manipulation is their greatest romantic poison. They want closeness, yes, but it must coexist with freedom. They long for a partner who understands that their fire burns brightest when it is not confined, and who trusts them enough to let them roam, explore, and return with even more energy to pour into the relationship. When commitment deepens, their love becomes both tender and fierce. In marriage, they are not the quiet, steady companions who simply follow routines. They are dynamic partners who keep the relationship alive with surprises, playful energy, and unwavering loyalty once they decide that this is their chosen bond. For them, marriage is not a cage but a stage, a space to express devotion with creativity, to build a shared life full of movement, ambition, and passion. They will defend and protect their partner with a ferocity that is almost primal, and they expect the same level of loyalty in return. Betrayal, whether in the form of infidelity or dishonesty, is something they find almost impossible to forgive. Their sexuality is an extension of their personality. bold, playful, adventurous, and deeply passionate. They do not approach intimacy mechanically or dutifully. For them, it is an art, a way of expressing love and connection that words cannot contain. Routine or predictability in this realm drains them, while exploration, spontaneity, and emotional intensity excite them. They want to feel both desired and desiring, to enter into an intimate space where fire meets vulnerability, and passion is infused with genuine affection. Their partners often find this combination irresistible, for it creates an atmosphere where physical closeness becomes a celebration rather than a chore. Still, as with all things Mars-driven, they must guard against extremes. Their fiery passion can sometimes veer into possessiveness, jealousy, or an overwhelming need to control the rhythm of the relationship. They may demand more than their partner can give, or they may misinterpret a moment of distance as rejection. The work of love for March 31st individuals lies in learning balance, to temper fire with patience, to recognize that love's depth is not always measured by its intensity, and to understand that true intimacy requires space as well as closeness. At their best, they are lovers who transform the lives of those they touch. Their relationships are not just about companionship but about growth, inspiration, and the courage to live fully. They lift their partners higher, encourage them to chase dreams they might otherwise fear, and remind them that love is meant to be a vivid, living flame. To be loved by someone born on March 31st is to experience romance as an adventure, sometimes exhausting, often overwhelming, but always unforgettable. In the end, their love story is one of passion seeking purpose. They are not content with superficial affection. They want the kind of bond that feels like destiny, that ignites the soul and withstands the tests of time. And when they find it, they give everything they have, burning brightly and beautifully, offering a love that is rare, powerful, and utterly transformative. In marriage, loyalty becomes their greatest strength. For those born on March 31st, marriage is not a casual arrangement or a mere legal bond. It is a sacred vow that they carry with profound seriousness. Their fiery Aries nature, ruled by Mars, makes them bold in the pursuit of love, but once they cross the threshold into true commitment, their flame transforms into something steady and enduring. Loyalty is not just a quality they admire, it becomes their defining virtue. They see their spouse and family as an extension of themselves, a part of their very identity, and they will do everything in their power to protect, nurture, and uplift those they call their own. This devotion is not always quiet or understated. On the contrary, it often manifests with great intensity. A March 31st partner does not simply stand by their loved ones. They stand in front, ready to shield them from any hardship or challenge. If life throws obstacles, they meet them head-on, often sacrificing personal comfort to ensure their family's security and happiness. Their spouse will quickly learn that beneath their adventurous spirit lies a fierce, almost warrior-like loyalty that does not falter, even in the face of adversity. Yet this unwavering loyalty comes with expectations. They need a partner who understands the nature of their fire, the sudden bursts of energy, the passionate moods, the relentless drive to push forward. A partner who feels threatened by intensity, who misinterprets passion for aggression, or who cannot handle emotional highs and lows will struggle to find balance in such a marriage. The March 31st individual thrives best with someone who can remain grounded when tempests rise, who can be both the anchor and the gentle wind that tempers their flames. They do not seek submission or silence, they seek balance, someone strong enough to stand beside them, not behind them. In the home, they are both protectors and providers, often taking on more than their share of responsibility because they cannot bear to see their loved ones lack anything. But this can also create tension. Their need to control outcomes, to ensure everything is just right, may sometimes overwhelm their spouse. Learning to share responsibilities, to trust their partner's judgment, becomes part of their growth within marriage. Despite the challenges, their devotion is unmatched. They do not enter marriage lightly, and once committed, they are all in, forever. Divorce, betrayal, or abandonment are things they fear deeply, not because they lack resilience, but because disloyalty strikes at the very heart of who they are. If betrayed, their fire turns from warmth to a blaze of pain, and though they may eventually forgive, forgetting is nearly impossible. For this reason, they choose partners carefully, instinctively drawn to those who can honor the sacredness of their bond. A life shared with someone born on March 31st is dynamic, passionate, and full of adventure. Their spouse will rarely feel stagnant, for they are always pushing forward, always dreaming, always seeking to build something greater together. Their loyalty, fierce devotion, and unyielding energy make them partners who not only love deeply but who also live that love in every choice, every act, every breath. In intimacy, they're adventurous and playful. When it comes to intimacy, March 31st individuals carry the same fiery energy that defines their entire being. They approach closeness not as an obligation or a duty, but as an art, a game, and an exploration of both body and soul. Their natural curiosity drives them to seek new ways to connect, to break routine, and to keep passion alive. To be with them is to discover that intimacy can be both playful and profound, filled with laughter one moment and breathtaking intensity the next. Routine is their greatest enemy in this sphere. They quickly grow restless if physical connection becomes predictable or mechanical. They thrive on surprise, on spontaneity, on the thrill of discovery. This doesn't mean they are careless or detached. On the contrary, it means they crave emotional and physical exploration hand in hand. They want to discover every dimension of their partner, not just in the physical sense, but in the emotional and psychological as well. Playfulness is at the heart of their intimacy. They enjoy teasing, experimenting, and keeping the energy light while still reaching depths of passion. For them, laughter and desire are not opposites. They are complementary forces that create intimacy filled with both joy and heat. They are not afraid to be silly, to be bold, to break rules if it means keeping the flame alive. But make no mistake, beneath this playful energy lies a depth of passion that runs profound. They long for experiences where love and desire merge seamlessly, where the act of intimacy becomes a reflection of their devotion and connection. For them, it is never just physical. It is a sacred exchange of energy, a way to strengthen the bond that words alone cannot capture. Their greatest satisfaction comes when their partner not only matches their physical energy but also meets them on a soul-deep level. Because of this, they are rarely satisfied with superficial connections. They crave intensity and meaning, and if intimacy lacks emotional resonance, they may feel empty despite physical closeness. The merging of love and passion is essential. They want to feel that every embrace, every touch, every kiss is a reaffirmation of their bond, a living reminder that their connection transcends the ordinary. Their adventurous nature also means they are open to trying new things, exploring uncharted territory, and keeping their love life alive with creativity. They are not bound by convention and often inspire their partners to step outside comfort zones, discovering new ways of expressing affection and desire. This adventurousness ensures that their relationships never grow stale, as long as both partners are willing to engage in the dance of exploration. Ultimately, their approach to intimacy reflects their entire personality: bold, passionate, playful, and deeply committed to authenticity. They are not afraid of vulnerability, nor are they afraid of risk, because they understand that true connection requires both. And when they find a partner who can embrace their fire, join them in adventure, and meet them with equal openness, the result is nothing short of transformative. Intimacy with them is not just about the physical act. It is about feeling alive, cherished, and endlessly inspired. Friendship and social life. To have a friend born on March 31st is to invite a whirlwind of energy, inspiration, and unpredictability into your life. These individuals are the kind of companions who will not let you stay stagnant for long. They challenge you, sometimes without even realizing it, to reach beyond your comfort zone. Their fiery Aries spirit radiates in social settings, making them magnetic, the kind of person who draws others in simply by existing. But unlike social butterflies who collect acquaintances without discrimination, March 31st individuals choose their connections carefully. They have a talent for forming friendships quickly, often through spontaneous acts of openness or shared adventures, but the truth is that they prefer depth over surface. Their circle tends to remain intimate, filled with people they can trust, admire, and engage with on meaningful levels. Their presence is a reminder that friendship should be an adventure. They are the friend who will call you at midnight to propose a road trip, who will dare you to take that class you've been hesitant about, who will encourage you to pursue a dream that feels too big to admit out loud. They believe in action, and by believing in action for themselves, they inspire others to believe as well. If you are hesitant, cautious, or afraid, they will become the spark that nudges you forward, sometimes dragging you into experiences you never imagined you could handle but later thank them for introducing into your life. What makes them particularly special in friendship is not only their energy but their authenticity. They despise fake connections, gossip, or shallow exchanges. If they call you a friend, it is because they mean it. They do not collect people for the sake of appearances. They value those who bring real meaning, who can both share in their laughter and stand beside them in silence. This sincerity is why their friendships, once formed, often last for years, but it is also why they can be ruthless when betrayed. Betrayal is their one unforgivable sin. They invest so much of themselves into their friendships that when someone takes advantage of their trust, it cuts to the bone. Unlike some who forgive easily in order to keep peace, March 31st people rarely, if ever, allow a betrayer back into their inner circle. They may be polite or distant, but the wound of broken trust becomes a wall. For them, loyalty is the lifeblood of all relationships, and once that is drained, the friendship cannot be revived. Their friends know this, which is why those lucky enough to be part of their inner circle guard the connection carefully. Socially, they shine in almost any environment. They can move through a crowded party with charisma, lighting up conversations with humor and enthusiasm, yet they are just as comfortable sitting with one or two close companions, speaking deeply about dreams, fears, or philosophies of life. They thrive on connection that is real and stimulating, not small talk or shallow chatter. People often describe them as the life of the party, but unlike those who fade once the music stops, March 31st individuals leave a lasting impression. They spark ideas, create laughter, and often plant seeds of courage in others that continue to grow long after the gathering ends. Still, they require balance. Because they give so much of themselves socially, they occasionally withdraw to recharge. They are not endlessly available, and they need solitude to reflect, refuel, and realign with their goals. Friends who understand this rhythm, bursts of energy followed by periods of retreat, will remain closest to them. Those who demand constant attention or mistake their need for space as neglect often misunderstand them and drift away. Ultimately, to befriend someone born on March 31st is to step into a relationship that is vivid, inspiring, and unforgettable. They will challenge you, protect you, and bring color into your life. They are not perfect. They can be blunt, impatient, and stubborn. But their loyalty, once earned, is a treasure. Their friendship is a force that transforms, not just a pleasant addition to life but a catalyst that pushes you to become more of who you were meant to be. Business and career. In the realm of business and career, those born on March 31st are visionaries who do not wait for opportunities to fall into their laps, they create them. The same fire that drives their personal relationships fuels their professional ambitions. They are natural leaders, not because they crave control in every circumstance, but because they instinctively know how to act when others hesitate. When faced with uncertainty, they do not freeze, they step forward. Their courage, combined with confidence, sets them apart in almost any field they choose to pursue. They are drawn to environments where initiative, risk-taking, and bold thinking are not just tolerated but rewarded. Traditional or rigid structures that demand conformity can frustrate them, as they feel caged when denied the freedom to innovate. Their entrepreneurial spirit is strong, and many March 31st individuals find themselves building businesses or leading projects that others considered too daring. What others call reckless, they often prove visionary. Their ability to see potential where others see obstacles is one of their defining gifts. In politics, leadership, or social movements, they shine because of their charisma and their ability to ignite passion in others. People listen when they speak, not just because of their words but because of the conviction behind them. They can rally teams, motivate colleagues, and inspire movements with their unshakable belief in the possibility of success. This is why so many born on this day end up in positions of influence. They do not necessarily chase power for power's sake, but their presence naturally pulls them into roles of authority. Creativity is another cornerstone of their professional life. Whether in acting, music, design, or other creative industries, they bring originality and daring that pushes boundaries. They do not settle for repeating what has already been done. They want to redefine, reinvent, and create something unforgettable. Their art, whether literal or metaphorical, is often a reflection of their personality, bold, expressive, and alive with energy. Their athleticism, courage, and discipline also make them excel in sports or military careers, where risk, challenge, and bravery are daily requirements. They are rarely satisfied with mediocrity. If they enter such fields, they aim for excellence, often becoming role models for others through their dedication and intensity. Technology and pioneering science also attract them, not because they necessarily love systems or data, but because they are drawn to the thrill of discovery, the adventure of venturing into the unknown. They thrive on frontiers, whether literal or figurative, and they want to be part of the movement that pushes humanity forward. But alongside all this brilliance lies their greatest challenge: patience. They want results quickly, sometimes forgetting that the most lasting achievements require time, discipline, and endurance. Their tendency to leap ahead can cause them to stumble, or to abandon projects too soon if success is not immediate. Yet when they learn persistence, when they combine their natural courage with steady focus, there is little they cannot achieve. This lesson, patience in the face of delay, is often the defining turning point of their professional life. Those born on March 31st have the capacity to build empires. Their confidence, energy, and willingness to take risks often lead them to places others never even dream of. They are not content with safe paths or predictable routines. Instead, they are drawn to the edge, to the places where innovation, courage, and creativity collide. And when they harness their energy wisely, when they temper their fire with strategy and persistence, they leave behind legacies that endure long after their careers are over. Dark sides. Every bright flame casts a shadow, and for those born on March 31st, the intensity of their fire brings with it darker dimensions that shape their journey. These individuals are often admired for their courage, energy, and ability to lead, yet behind that brilliance lie struggles that can just as easily undo their progress if left unchecked. Their first and most persistent challenge is stubbornness. Once they form an opinion, it can feel as though it has been carved into stone. They do not yield easily, and while this determination serves them well in battles of perseverance, it can blind them in moments when flexibility or compromise is required. They may cling to their view long after it has stopped serving them, not out of rational conviction but because admitting otherwise feels like defeat. This connects directly to another of their shadows: arrogance. The very confidence that allows them to stride boldly into the unknown can harden into pride when they refuse to acknowledge their own limitations. They hate being wrong, not because they wish to dominate others, but because their identity is tied to their sense of decisiveness. To admit error feels like tearing at the core of who they are, and so they may deflect, justify, or even double down on mistakes rather than face them with humility. This tendency can alienate friends, partners, or colleagues who feel overshadowed by their refusal to listen. It also blocks their own growth, because true wisdom requires the courage to admit vulnerability. Impulsivity is another frequent shadow. Their fire burns hot and fast, propelling them into action before others have even taken a step. While this often works to their advantage, it can also lead them into reckless decisions that could have been avoided with a moment of reflection. They may speak without thinking, promise more than they can deliver, or throw themselves into ventures without fully preparing. When impulsivity rules them, they become prisoners of their own fire, burning bridges and scattering energy across too many pursuits. But perhaps the most dangerous shadow they face is burnout. March 31st individuals often push themselves relentlessly, driven by an inner hunger to achieve, create, and conquer. They rarely know how to rest, and even when their body demands pause, their mind races toward the next goal. This relentless pace can drain them, leaving them physically and emotionally exhausted. Unlike quieter personalities, they cannot simply coast through burnout. When exhaustion strikes, it hits with force, sometimes manifesting in sudden collapses of motivation, health issues, or dramatic withdrawals from life. The same fire that drives them to greatness can consume them if not tempered with balance. Balance, indeed, becomes their lifelong task. They must learn that strength does not mean constant motion, that victory sometimes comes through patience rather than speed, and that their worth is not diminished by moments of vulnerability. If they fail to recognize this, their shadows risk defining them more than their light. But when they embrace the lessons of moderation, humility, and rest, their dark sides become not stumbling blocks but teachers, shaping them into deeper, wiser, and more resilient beings. Their shadow is never meant to destroy them, it exists to refine their flame, making it steadier, brighter, and more enduring. Life goals and destiny. To be born on March 31st is to be born with a mission. These individuals are not content to merely pass through life quietly, they are called to ignite something greater. Their very essence is tied to the idea of lighting fires, not in the literal sense, though their love of bonfires or candlelight may reflect this symbolism, but in the spiritual and metaphorical sense. They are here to awaken passion, to stir hearts, to shake stagnant systems, and to inspire change that outlives them. Their destiny is deeply linked to movement and initiation. As natural Aries pioneers, they thrive when opening doors for others, blazing trails where none existed, and proving that the impossible can be made real. They are not simply dreamers, they are doers. The goals they set for themselves often stretch beyond personal gain. Even when they begin with self-centered ambitions, their energy ripples outward, affecting families, communities, and sometimes entire generations. Their legacy is not just about what they achieve, but about how they empower others to achieve as well. One of their great life purposes is to inspire courage. Many who cross their path will remember them not because of what they did directly, but because of how they made others feel capable of more. Their fire is contagious, sparking bravery in the timid, determination in the weary, and imagination in the doubtful. They often do not realize the impact they have, but the truth is that their presence alone is transformative. Another goal woven into their destiny is the pursuit of authenticity. They cannot live lives that are false, shallow, or constrained by empty expectations. They are meant to break molds, to challenge conventions, and to carve paths that honor their true nature. Their destiny demands risk, because without risk, their flame flickers. They must constantly grow, evolve, and seek higher challenges, not only for their own fulfillment but to model what it looks like to live fully alive. Yet their destiny is not only about expansion. It is also about learning responsibility, to harness their energy in ways that build rather than destroy. Fire can warm or burn, and March 31st souls must learn to use their fire wisely. Their life purpose calls them to mature from reckless pioneers into wise trailblazers, people who not only open doors but also guide others safely through them. They are not meant to simply burn brightly for a moment, but to sustain a flame that endures. At its deepest level, their destiny is service through leadership. This does not mean serving in subordination, but serving humanity by leading with courage, honesty, and vision. Whether they become artists, entrepreneurs, activists, or parents, their role is to clear paths, spark movements, and remind others that fear is not the master of life. They are here to embody bravery so that others may find it in themselves. In the end, their life goals revolve around one truth: they are meant to leave the world brighter than they found it. They are the torchbearers of their time, entrusted with the responsibility of showing what is possible when passion is paired with purpose. Their destiny is not quiet, and it is not easy, but it is extraordinary, and when they embrace it fully, they not only change their own lives, they change the lives of everyone touched by their fire. Zodiac compatibility. The question of compatibility is always fascinating, especially when it comes to those born on March 31st, whose fiery Aries nature blazes brightly and demands an equally vivid counterpart. Who can truly stand beside this flame without being overwhelmed, who can dance with their fire without being consumed? To understand their compatibility, one must look not only at surface attraction but at how energy, temperament, and rhythm of life either harmonize or clash. Their best matches are often found among the fellow fire signs, Leo and Sagittarius. These signs speak the same elemental language of energy, passion, and drive. A Leo partner mirrors their boldness and adds a regal steadiness, providing admiration and loyalty that March 31st Aries craves while also demanding respect in return. Together, they form a union of fire that burns like a beacon, attracting admiration from others and creating a partnership of mutual inspiration. Sagittarius, on the other hand, matches their adventurous spirit and thirst for exploration. With Sagittarius, life becomes an endless journey, filled with laughter, philosophy, and shared quests for new horizons. Neither sign grows bored in the other's company, and both delight in the boundless possibilities of the world, making their compatibility one of boundless excitement and joy. Air signs Gemini and Aquarius also bring powerful synergy. Gemini, playful and curious, fuels Aries' fire with wit, conversation, and variety. The March 31st Aries never feels caged with Gemini, who constantly reinvents their connection, keeping intimacy alive and dynamic. Aquarius, meanwhile, offers innovation and vision. Where Aries brings the fire of action, Aquarius provides the winds of big ideas and future dreams. Together, they can accomplish remarkable things, with Aries supplying momentum and Aquarius offering direction. This compatibility thrives on mutual respect for freedom, individuality, and a shared sense of idealism. But compatibility does not exist only in perfect matches. Some signs serve as balancing forces, rounding March 31st individuals in ways that may surprise them. Libra, the zodiac opposite of Aries, is one such partner. Where Aries charges ahead with boldness, Libra pauses to consider fairness, beauty, and diplomacy. This balancing act can frustrate Aries at times, who sees Libra's hesitation as weakness, but over time Aries learns that Libra's calm steadiness softens their rough edges and teaches them patience. Together, they form a yin-yang partnership that is deeply complementary. Pisces, gentle and intuitive, provides another form of balance. Where Aries blazes with fire, Pisces flows like water, soothing their intensity and opening doors to emotional depth. A Pisces partner can calm Aries' storms, encouraging vulnerability and compassion where once there was only urgency. Yet, as in all things, there are challenging matches. Cancer, with its deep emotional tides, may find Aries too harsh, too impatient with sensitivity, too dismissive of subtle feelings. Capricorn, disciplined and slow-moving, often collides with Aries' impulsive nature. Where Capricorn demands strategy, Aries leaps forward instinctively, leading to misunderstandings and conflicts over pace and priorities. Virgo, with its critical eye and perfectionist tendencies, can be a difficult partner for Aries, whose spontaneity and fiery outbursts are rarely filtered. Virgo's constant need for order and analysis can dampen Aries' spirit, leaving both partners frustrated and misunderstood. Still, it is important to note that compatibility is not destiny. Even the most challenging pairings can thrive if love, respect, and growth are present, while even the most harmonious matches can falter if passion fades. For March 31st individuals, compatibility is about finding someone who can meet their fire, sometimes with equal heat, sometimes with cooling calm, but always with honesty, loyalty, and courage. For them, love is not a static state but a living flame, and only those who understand this truth will be able to walk beside them for the long journey ahead. Numerology of March 31st. Numbers, like stars, tell their own story, and for those born on March 31st, the vibrations of numerology add a fascinating layer to their personality and destiny. Breaking the date down, we see that 3 and 1 together form 4, and each of these numbers contributes its own energy to the soul of the March 31st individual. The number 4 is the cornerstone, the builder, the architect of order. It represents discipline, structure, and determination, qualities that are not always immediately obvious in fiery Aries personalities but which shape those born on this date in profound ways. Unlike some Aries, who burn bright but fade quickly, March 31st natives have the ability to stick with their visions and bring them to life in tangible form. The influence of 4 gives them resilience, grounding their passion in practicality, teaching them how to turn sparks into lasting flames. They are not just dreamers who speak of grand ideas, they are builders who can design foundations that endure. Yet, alongside this steadying influence lies the energy of 3, the number of creativity, joy, and expression. The 3 gives them charm, charisma, and a natural gift for communication. It ensures that they are not only builders but also storytellers, people who can inspire others through words, art, laughter, and presence. The number 3 imbues them with a lightness of spirit that balances the seriousness of 4, reminding them that life is not only about discipline but also about play, beauty, and joy. And then there is the 1, the leader, the pioneer, the number of independence and originality. This number amplifies their Aries nature, giving them courage to step first into new territories, to blaze trails others fear to touch, to assert their individuality with pride. 1 is the number of beginnings, and for those born on March 31st, it manifests as an endless capacity to reinvent themselves, to take charge, and to inspire others by sheer force of will. It fuels their innate desire to lead, not by demanding authority, but by embodying action so decisively that others naturally follow. Together, 3, 1, and 4 create a fascinating combination. They are the leader who knows how to inspire with creativity and charisma, and also the builder who has the discipline to follow through. They embody the joy of beginnings and the strength of completions, the dreamer and the architect within one soul. This is why March 31st individuals often leave behind legacies larger than themselves. They do not stop at the first spark of inspiration. They nurture it, shape it, and give it form until it stands as something lasting in the world. Numerology reveals their deeper lesson as well. The interplay of these numbers urges them to balance creativity with discipline, leadership with humility, fire with structure. When they lean too far into impulsivity, 4 calls them back to patience. When they risk becoming too rigid or serious, 3 reminds them to laugh, to create, to enjoy. And when they feel uncertain or lost, 1 reminds them that they were born to begin anew, to stand boldly at the start of paths others cannot see. In essence, the numbers of March 31st echo the truth of their astrological sign. They are leaders, builders, and creators, called to turn passion into permanence and inspiration into legacy. Their numerology, like their stars, speaks of a destiny both fiery and grounded, both creative and enduring, a life not only lived but built to last. The Celtic, Druid horoscope. In the Celtic tree horoscope, those born on March 31st are often linked to the hazel tree, though some traditions connect them to the alder depending on how the calendar is interpreted. Either way, the symbolism is profound, for both hazel and alder trees carry powerful myths in Druidic lore. The hazel, above all, represents wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of words. In ancient Celtic tradition, the hazel tree was sacred because it bore the mystical nuts that fell into the river Boyne, where the salmon of knowledge ate them and became the wisest creature of all. To be born under hazel is to inherit a spark of this legendary gift, a sharp wit, a keen intellect, and the ability to see connections where others only see chaos. March 31st individuals, with hazel influence in their horoscope, are often natural scholars, debaters, and storytellers. They can unravel complexities with ease and weave ideas into compelling narratives that hold the attention of others. Their intelligence is not the kind that isolates, rather, it draws people in, because their words inspire trust and curiosity. They have an innate ability to persuade, to gently guide others toward their vision, often without those others even realizing they have been led. This skill mirrors their Aries fire, direct, bold, and pioneering, but softened by hazel's nuance and eloquence. For some, the alder tree may also be associated with this date. Alder carries its own mythology, tied to warriors and the protection of journeys. In Celtic lore, the alder tree was sacred to Bran the Blessed, a giant and guardian figure, symbolizing strength, courage, and loyalty to kin. If hazel imbues the March 31st soul with intelligence and eloquence, alder adds the warrior's courage and sense of mission. Together, these influences create individuals who not only think deeply but also act decisively, merging strategy with bravery. Hazel-born Aries of March 31st embody a rare combination. They are fiery leaders but also thinkers. They are bold pioneers but also listeners who understand the subtleties of human nature. They know how to use words as weapons and shields, and they rarely lose in debates or negotiations. Others may underestimate them because of their youthful energy, but their hazel nature ensures that they almost always stay 3 steps ahead. In the broader Celtic view, hazel people are also closely tied to creativity and the arts. They often express themselves not only through speech but also through writing, music, or other creative forms. There is something magical about their imagination, an ability to capture inspiration from everyday life and transform it into something enduring. And when combined with Aries' determination, this gift ensures that they do not merely dream but bring their ideas into reality. Thus, in the Druidic sense, March 31st is a date of both wisdom and action. These individuals are fated to be voices that inspire, warriors who defend, and leaders who embody both fire and intellect. They stand at the crossroads of passion and wisdom, carrying in their souls the sacred knowledge of hazel and the protective courage of alder. Vedic Astrology. According to Vedic astrology, March 31st falls under Mesha Rashi, the sign of Aries, ruled by Mangal or Mars. In the Vedic tradition, Mars is not merely a planet of energy but a force that defines courage, drive, discipline, and the ability to protect. For those born on this day, Mars grants an unshakable warrior spirit, one that does not shy away from conflict but views challenges as the proving grounds of destiny. Mesha Rashi natives are pioneers in every sense. They are tasked, karmically, with opening new paths for others, often being the first to step where no one has dared. The Vedic perspective sees them as protectors, people whose dharma, their sacred duty, involves safeguarding others, defending communities, and standing against forces that threaten harmony. They carry the mantle of leadership not as a luxury but as a responsibility, and life often tests them with situations that demand they rise into this role whether they are ready or not. Mars' influence infuses their personalities with determination, assertiveness, and stamina. They are not content to sit back passively while life unfolds around them. They must engage, initiate, and take control. Their energy is vibrant, sometimes overwhelming to others, but it is precisely this fire that allows them to achieve what others only dream about. In Vedic texts, Mars is also associated with brothers, land, and physical vitality, which means that March 31st individuals often have strong ties to family responsibilities, may find themselves drawn to property or land-based ventures, and usually have robust physical energy that pushes them into action-oriented careers or lifestyles. But the Vedic perspective also offers a word of caution. The energy of Mars is fierce and, if unchecked, can manifest as aggression, impatience, or destructive anger. For those born under Mesha Rashi, the challenge is to channel this force into disciplined effort rather than reckless impulse. When balanced, they embody the noble warrior, courageous, protective, and just. When unbalanced, they risk becoming combative, domineering, or prone to unnecessary conflict. The path of spiritual growth for March 31st souls often lies in mastering this fire, learning to control rather than be controlled by it. Vedic astrology also emphasizes the concept of karma, and for those born under Mesha Rashi, their karmic journey involves leadership and creation. They are often placed in situations where they must step forward when others hesitate, and through these moments, they fulfill their destiny. Their dharma calls them to act with integrity, to inspire others through their example, and to use their courage not just for personal gain but for the greater good. Ultimately, the Vedic reading of March 31st aligns beautifully with the Western astrological interpretation. These individuals are trailblazers, protectors, and creators of new beginnings. But through the Vedic lens, we see their role not merely as personal but cosmic. Their fire is a gift from Mars, a sacred energy entrusted to them, to be used for the service of humanity in the fulfillment of their karmic mission. The flower horoscope. For those born on March 31st, the symbolic flower is the honeysuckle, a bloom that has long been tied to love, sweetness, and the intertwining bonds of human connection. Honeysuckle is more than a delicate plant with a pleasant fragrance. In folklore, it has always represented the soul's capacity to cling, to entwine, and to remain steadfast in devotion. When applied to the lives of March 31st individuals, this symbolism reveals something profound about their nature. They are lovers at heart, people who crave deep emotional bonds and pour themselves fully into the relationships they form. The honeysuckle's fragrance is sweet but also subtle, traveling on the air to reach those who are near. In much the same way, March 31st people have an aura that quietly draws others to them. They may not always be loud in declaring their affections, but their warmth is felt strongly, almost like an invisible perfume that lingers and comforts. When they love, they do so with intensity, wrapping themselves around their partner's lives much like honeysuckle wraps around a trellis, not to restrict, but to grow alongside, to beautify, and to strengthen. This flower also speaks to the duality of passion and nourishment. Honeysuckle produces nectar, which in many traditions was seen as a symbol of life's sweetness, of pleasures that are meant to be savored. March 31st Aries embody this essence in their approach to relationships and experiences. They do not love halfway, and they do not live halfway. They want to drink deeply from life's nectar, savoring its joys and offering sweetness to those they cherish. Their romantic nature is passionate but also generous. They want their partners, friends, and families to feel nourished by their love, strengthened by their presence, and inspired by their warmth. The climbing nature of honeysuckle also mirrors their resilience. March 31st individuals may face obstacles, but like the flower that finds its way upward no matter how tangled the branches, they persist. Their romantic lives may be filled with dramatic highs and lows, but their capacity to cling to love, to nurture bonds, and to remain devoted is unwavering. For them, love is not a fleeting pastime, it is the trellis on which they build their lives, the structure that gives their passion direction and purpose. Thus, the honeysuckle reveals much about their soul. It tells us that those born on this day are not only fiery Aries adventurers but also tender gardeners of the heart, people who value loyalty, intimacy, and the sweetness of connection. Their love, like the flower itself, is both beautiful and enduring, a fragrance that lingers long after the moment has passed, a nectar that makes life not only bearable but breathtakingly sweet. The stone horoscope. For March 31st, the birthstone is the diamond, a gem that has fascinated humanity for millennia with its unmatched brilliance, its clarity, and its reputation as unbreakable. In astrology and myth, the diamond symbolizes strength, resilience, and eternal love, qualities that align seamlessly with the fiery determination of Aries born on this day. To hold a diamond is to hold condensed light, a fragment of eternity forged under immense pressure, and in many ways, March 31st individuals embody this same process. Their strength is not accidental, it is created through struggle, through challenge, through the fire of life's trials. The clarity of the diamond reflects their vision and intensity. These people are rarely half-hearted in their pursuits. Once they set their sights on a goal, they pursue it with laser focus. They see obstacles not as permanent walls but as challenges to cut through, just as a diamond can slice through glass. This gives them an aura of invincibility, a determination so strong that others often marvel at how they manage to keep pushing forward when others would have long surrendered. The diamond is also the stone of eternal love, and for March 31st souls, this speaks directly to their romantic and relational lives. Their passion is fierce, but it is also loyal. They may rush into love with the speed of Aries fire, but once they commit, they hold on with diamond-like devotion. They protect their loved ones, they fight for their relationships, and they treat loyalty as sacred. In their marriages and partnerships, they embody the diamond's promise of endurance, building bonds that can withstand pressure and last a lifetime. There is also something symbolic about the diamond's formation that mirrors the destiny of March 31st individuals. A diamond is created deep within the earth, under conditions of immense heat and pressure, transforming simple carbon into one of the most precious materials known. Similarly, those born on this day are often tested by life in ways that feel intense, even overwhelming. Yet it is precisely these pressures that bring out their brilliance. Their challenges do not break them. Instead, they refine them, shaping them into individuals who shine with resilience and strength. In spiritual traditions, the diamond has been regarded as a symbol of clarity of mind, purity of purpose, and unshakable will. For Aries of March 31st, this translates into their life mission: to cut through illusions, to act with decisiveness, and to embody courage even when faced with uncertainty. Just as the diamond refracts light into a spectrum of colors, so too do these individuals radiate multiple facets of personality: strength and tenderness, passion and wisdom, spontaneity and discipline. The diamond is, therefore, not only their stone but their mirror. It reflects who they are at their core: unyielding, radiant, forged by fire, and destined to endure. To wear or connect with this stone is to align with their highest self, reminding them always that, like the diamond, their greatest beauty emerges not in ease but in the way they withstand and transform life's greatest pressures. Final thoughts. People born on March 31st are, in every sense of the word, remarkable. Their presence is not quiet, nor is it meant to be. They carry within them the flame of Aries, bold, unyielding, passionate, and yet it is not a reckless fire that burns without purpose. It is a fire that illuminates paths for others, that warms hearts with courage, and that pushes humanity forward in ways both subtle and profound. To encounter someone born on this day is to feel life's intensity sharpened and magnified, as if the very air around them vibrates with the energy of motion, of daring, of unrelenting drive. At the core of their essence lies leadership. This does not always mean leadership in the conventional sense of commanding armies, running companies, or standing at podiums, though many of them are drawn to such roles. It is a deeper kind of leadership, born from their refusal to stand still when change is needed, from their willingness to step forward when others hesitate. They embody the archetype of the pioneer, the one who first cuts through the wilderness, not because the path is easy but because it must be made. Their courage is their compass, and their determination is the fuel that ensures they never stop moving, even when the terrain grows steep. And yet, their greatness is not without its trials. The very qualities that make them extraordinary can also serve as their stumbling blocks. Their intensity, if unchecked, becomes impatience. Their confidence, if left untempered, hardens into arrogance. Their passion, if not balanced, burns too quickly and leaves behind ashes instead of legacies. This is why patience and humility are not optional lessons for them. They are vital threads in the tapestry of their destiny. Life will test them repeatedly with situations that demand restraint, moments where the wiser choice is to pause rather than to charge. Only when they learn this balance do they step fully into their power, becoming not just fiery leaders but wise ones. In love, they are breathtakingly alive. Their partners often describe being with them as living in a story that is always unfolding, passionate, dramatic, unpredictable, but never dull. In friendship, they are loyal to the core, inspiring companions who lift others out of fear and push them toward greatness. In business, they are visionaries, unafraid to risk, unafraid to fail, because failure for them is never the end, it is simply fuel for another attempt. Their lives are a testament to resilience, to the truth that courage paired with determination can build empires, whether those empires are of ideas, relationships, or tangible achievements. To be born on March 31st is to be born with destiny stitched into one's very being. These individuals are not here to blend into the background or follow quietly where others lead. Their lives are not meant to be ordinary, and they know it in their bones. They feel it in the restless energy that pushes them toward new adventures, in the way their spirit rebels against confinement, in the deep certainty that they are meant to leave their mark on the world. Their task is not easy, but it is extraordinary: to stand out, to lead, to inspire, and to remind every soul they touch that life is meant to be lived boldly, fully, and without apology. So if you were born on March 31st, understand this truth. You are the flame in the darkness, the spark that ignites courage in others, the pioneer who clears the way for those who follow. Your life is not a small story. It is a blazing saga of passion, leadership, and transformation. And though the world may sometimes try to tame your fire, do not let it dim. For your fire is your gift, your legacy, and your destiny, and through it, you remind the rest of us what it means to live fearlessly alive.